Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've made it out on the water. I only have a short amount of time to fish out here this morning before I gotta take off and take care of a few other things. So I'm not gonna sit here and talk long. I'm gonna launch this kayak, float down to the location that I'm wanting to hit, and see what we can find before I gotta get out of here. And I think oh, did he drop it? Oh, he might have dropped it, I don't know. Oh, he spit it. Gosh, dang it. Should have waited a little longer, I suppose. Guys, I have been trying to catch a fish on this river literally weeks. I mean, the past few weeks have just been terrible. Haven't been able to catch anything. And there's my opportunity, and I blew it. Are we maybe finally going to catch a fish? If we do, I think it looks like it's going to be a small one. But at this point, I will take it. Can he get hooked up? Did he get hooked up? I think he may have. I do not think this is a big fish. In fact, I am quite confident that this is a rather small one. But it's a whole lot bigger than anything I have caught recently down here. So I am going to take it and be thrilled to catch it if I can land it. I don't know what the deal has been. I don't know if it's just been that these fish are on the spawn. They're on the nests. They should be coming off. Well, now he's gonna get some muscle behind him. They should be coming off the nest here soon if that is the case, if that's what's been the cause of my fishing woes, I guess, if I want to refer to them that way. I just have been failing. My plan is actually to, well, I had planned today to go out and do some ultralight fishing just to catch something, just to build my confidence a little bit, because I haven't been able to catch anything in so long. But had some things going on that made it such that I had a little bit of time to come out here on the river, but didn't really have time or the opportunity to get out to the lake to do any ultralight fishing. So here we are. But this will be my first cat off of the river if I can land it in 3 or 4 weeks, I think. So it's not going to be a very big one. It's going to be a channel cat for us, but I'm going to be more than happy to get it if I can land it. I almost forgot what it feels like to catch a fish. Start to wonder what's wrong with you when you go so long and can't catch anything. Normally I do really well down here, so when I'm not catching anything, I start to wonder. Anyway, I think I'm gonna let this thing, we've about got it beat, but I think I'm gonna let it kind of tucker itself out like I usually do. Give it a minute just to kind of play itself out. These channel cats are very aggressive. They're not calm to land. They like to tear your hands up. They like to knock things around in the kayak if you bring them in too early. So I'm going to make sure he's plenty tuckered before I try to bring him in the kayak and get a picture with him. Assuming nothing crazy happens between now and then, we'll get him in the kayak, get a better look at him. All right, there's a little bit better look at that fish there. Oh, geez, it's ready to get out of here, so I'm gonna release it. Man, looks like you got some mud on the camera lens there. Got mud all up and down my arm. That's what you deal with when you're catching these channel cats. They're just tough. They're tough fish, but they're just not easy to handle. Well, I suppose I ought to give a little update, being that it's no longer this morning. When I started filming the intro for this video, it was the morning. And then I just had some stuff come up. I didn't stay on the water very long, didn't get an opportunity to do a whole lot of fishing. Thought I was going to go, like I had said, do some ultralight fishing at the lake this afternoon. I don't tend to watch the weather very closely. We had thunderstorms roll through that prevented me from being able to do that. I had left my kayak down actually on the water through the storm, so I wanted to come back out here and retrieve it, and figure if I'm doing that, I may as well crawl in it and just fish for a little while anyways and see if I can't get something going. So I finally caught a fish out here, man. It's been a long time coming. I'm gonna sit here for a little while longer, not too much longer, but just see if I can't get another one, and we'll go from there. Well, that is going to be the end for me out here tonight, though not the end of the video. What I ended up doing was, I guess you can't see from up here, but upstream, 75 yards or so, there's a real shallow area that's jammed up with a bunch of logs laying across the river. I beached the kayak and climbed through that mess of logs to get over here on the other side and see what I might find. I never really did find anything that exciting. I did find a nice little lay down here in the water over here that I've been fishing for a few minutes. Had one bite but didn't hook up, so I think I'm gonna call that a night, but I'm gonna try to do a little bit better for you guys. So if I get the opportunity to get back out on the river tomorrow, then I will clip this video on with that one to make a little bit more enjoyable footage for you all to watch. If I don't get out tomorrow, I'll get out again sometime soon. So we'll try to do our best to make the content something that's bearable to sit through. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna reel my bait in here and make the trek back over the kayak and get back to the launching point, and we'll see you again soon. Oh boy, truthfully wasn't expecting for that to turn into a fish, and now I gotta try and figure a way to keep it out of all the wood down there. Oh, we might get lucky here. We might get lucky. All right, let's get ourselves situated. Oh boy, I was just relaxing. I've been fishing all morning. 3 hours now, I think, maybe. And just nothing going on. I just can't catch fish out here these days. And I was getting kind of tired and my butt's getting sore. So I had readjusted in the kayak and set myself up in a way that would allow me to kind of just take a break and be comfortable. And while I was doing that, I cast my bait right up here in front of me next to these logs, and I wasn't really expecting anything to come of it because nothing's happened all day long. I've fished great structure all day and just a few bites from fish that are too small to hook up, but nothing really significant going on. I'm sure happy to get a fish finally, and it's a miracle that he didn't get us in all the laydowns and the snags that are over there. Oh, it feels good to finally catch another fish. And he's gonna put on a show for us too. I guess he figures if he's gonna be the first fish a trip for me, he may as well, very well could be the only fish of the trip, so he may as well make it as fun as he can for me. Well, guys, I'm going to do like I always do when I catch these big channel cats, and that is kind of just let him sit here. I'm fishing on a short line, so it doesn't take me a lot of time to reel the fish into the kayak. But when I get those fish in with as short a line as I have out, they're not tuckered. And if you bring one of these big channel cats into the kayak too soon, they just really knock things around. Knock things out of the kayak. They tear your hands up really bad. So what I'm going to do with this fish is like what I do with all the big channel cats I catch when I'm fishing this way, which is let him kind of sit here at the side of the kayak for a while and wear himself out before I try to bring him in the kayak. I don't want to bring him in too soon. I don't know that we got this fish totally tuckered out, but we got him in the kayak anyway. It feels really good to have another nice, good quality channel cat like this in the kayak with me, because like I said, man, it's been a serious dry spell for me. See if I can get that hook to pop out. Might grab the pliers for this one. He was hooked good, sure wasn't going anywhere. See if we can hold him up for a picture without him going crazy. Alright guys, that's the best I can do for you. That's a really good quality channel cat. That's a good one to break the dry spell for us. Oh, it's ready to get out of here, so let's get it released. Alright, and just like that, we got us a fish in the boat finally. Guys, I came out here and I didn't film an intro when I got on the water today. I'm glad I didn't, because man, there for a while it was looking like I wasn't going to catch anything, and that could very well be the only fish I end up with out here today. But I came out last week and did some fishing just for a little while, just a short trip. I didn't have a lot of time, and I did catch a fish on that trip. And I thought, man, it's been so long since I've been able to land any quality catfish on the river, you know, fishing in this way. I'm gonna hang on to that footage and I'll just clip it on to a subsequent trip. So so that's what you're seeing. You'd seen earlier, assuming that everything worked out with the footage, a clip of that fish that I caught last week. This is actually the following weekend that I'm out here fishing today. And that fish there kind of caught me off guard, man. I was just lounging here in the kayak, had my bait cast out, which I typically don't do. I typically suspend my baits along the side of the kayak, but I thought, you know, I'm getting kind of uncomfortable. I need a break. I'm just going to lounge a little bit and cast a bait, and it worked out for me. So now I'm kind of trying to figure out what I ought to do next. I think what worked for me here was to cast a bait. I may just do the same thing. Typically, when I catch a fish, I drop another bait back down. It's hit or miss whether or not you catch another one. Usually, if you catch a big flathead, you can probably assume that you're not going to get another one. But I figure I'm here. It doesn't take but a few minutes just to sit here, put another bait out, and see what happens. So I think that's probably what I'll do. I'll just do the same thing. It worked for one. Let's see if it can work for two. Oh boy. All right, well, we've got one. But it is extremely snagged. What are the odds it'll work out of that? Oh, did it? Did he work free? Oh, he might have worked free. And we're going to be extremely fortunate if it worked free. I think it did. I knew when my kayak ended up sitting the way it was that we were going to have an issue if we did get one, but again, I haven't really been terribly optimistic. The bite has just been off. I think the fish had been on the spawn and they're now starting to come off the nest, but it's just slower. I mean, it's summer. It's a summer bite. And I mean, I got out here early today in hopes of taking advantage of some cooler weather in the morning. And nothing going on this morning. So here we are in the middle of the afternoon still fishing, and it's just slow. It's hot. We're into the summer months and the bite just slows down when you get to that point. And I did not anchor down in a good location, because I'm getting drug around and it's extremely uncomfortable. Oh man, I wish I anchored this thing a little bit better. It's not a lot of fun when you just get pulled around in circles. I mean, it is. That's what makes the kayak fishing so fun, is the fact that you get towed around by these big fish and you got such a short line out. But I like to be a little bit more stable than what I am right now. Let's see if I can maybe fix that a little bit. I like to be as stable as I can. Oh, now I got a stick in my back. I like to be as stable as I can be, just to make it a little bit more comfortable and make it feel just a little bit safer. But we were fortunate to have that fish come out of that snag there. I was starting to think we were gonna have another one fish trip. And for the time I've spent out here today, I just wasn't gonna be too satisfied with that. This is a really good quality, really nice channel cat. And we're very fortunate that it came out of that snag so that I didn't have another one fish trip. At least this way we got 2 fish out of the day. I got a little bit of fishing yet to do, but not a lot. So we'll, like we do on all of them, let this one kind of hang out, tucker himself out. And when I feel that it's worn out enough that it might be ready to come in the kayak, then we'll get to landing it. Just like that, we got another one in the kayak. That's a nice channel cat. Got some weight to it. It's still a little green. I can still feel the energy working up in it, but we're gonna try and pop that hook free. Do our best to get a picture, hold it up for a picture before we let it go without it flopping out of our hands. That's a really nice looking fish there. Oh yeah, there it is. Channel cat number 2 on the day, 3 on the video. That one there, pretty hefty. That's got some weight to it. That's a really nice fish. Do our best to get a gentle release on it. All right, I'm feeling a little bit better about the trip. You guys may have noticed my gloves. Got a little bit of flack for using them here recently, but like I keep harping on, these channel cats they're just really aggressive. And like when you grab a flathead, it kind of just calms down. They're pretty tame once you get your hands on them. A channel cat is just not like that. They're aggressive. They flop around. They freak out when you bring them in, and when you land them. And without the gloves, they just really tear your hands up. The gloves have made for, though they may look a little bit silly, have made for a much better fishing experience for me. If you're someone that likes fish grips, great. I'm not a big fan of fish grips, and I just don't love making my hands bleed. So think what you want to think about it, but I have really enjoyed my fishing trips a lot better ever since I started wearing these landing gloves. Highly recommend it. That bait's a little worse for the wear. You can see where the fish have been chomping down on it and really putting some pressure on it with their jaws, and where it's kind of been chewed on by some smaller fish. Be a good time to replace that bait, and mouse kind of tore up there. I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I think I'll go ahead and put a new piece on there. There's not a lot. There's a little bit of structure up here in front of me that I'm going to fish yet. Not a lot of fishing that I'm going to do on the remainder of this trip. I'm probably going to wrap it up here pretty quick, but in the meantime, I think what we will do is go ahead and get a fresh piece on and get a better bait out there. So I've got a fresh piece of cut bait on. I'm going to send back out here on the same spot where we caught that fish just for a few minutes, see if there might be another one on the same spot. And all I'm doing is dropping my bait right next to the kayak and just suspending it about a foot off the bottom, and we're only fishing in about 4 foot of water right here. So my my bait is about 3.5. When you account for the leader, probably more like 3.5 foot, probably about a half a foot off the bottom. So fishing about 3.5 foot deep is all. Something hit it. It's acting a little bit weird. Could this perhaps be a flathead, or is it just a weird channel cat bite? I don't want to reel down on it because I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to pull it out of its mouth. Just let it do its thing until I know for sure that it's got the hook. I I think it probably does, but I don't want to rush it. Whatever it is, I suspect is a fairly small fish. It's acting like it's hooked, but man, I just don't want to. I don't want to screw it up. We'll give it a few seconds. There's something on it. I just don't know if I should pick up or what. Nope. Oh, that's what it was. One of them gar. Don't know if you saw them gar surface there, but, well, and with that, I've already been on the water much longer than I had anticipated being out here this morning. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap up the trip and call it a day. It's starting to get warm out here, and I do have some other things that I have to do this afternoon. You know, I was hoping to get more bites than what I did out here today. I thought getting out here early when it was nice and cool would give me an opportunity to catch a few more fish and a better opportunity to hook into some fish that have just been inactive in past weeks. You know, I had several bites out here today, a lot of small fish that just weren't able to come away with the bait and the hook, but 2 fish is better than 1 fish, and that's better than no fish. So maybe next time we'll get 3 fish, I don't know. But I never come out doing this style of fishing expecting to catch a ton of fish, but I always hope that I'm gonna hook into something that's a little bit better quality. And we got some good quality channels out here today, so I'm pretty pleased with the way the trip went. Of course, we'll be out here again probably next week looking for more fish and hopefully finding something that's a little bit bigger than what even we got out here today. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you in the next one. All right. Looks like we got us something to hook up and totally cover us in water. Oh my goodness. Holy cow, that is just not necessary. Wow. My goodness. Whew. If it had been hot down here, we'd be feeling good now. Fortunately, it's not too hot. I got out here really early this morning. I've got some alfalfa work to go take care of, but I wanted to get down here before it did get too hot and just hit a couple of spots and see what's going on. I'm actually getting ready just right now to get out of here, and this was last spot I was going to hit real quick this morning, just see if anything's happening. And I'm glad I dropped a bait here, because it always makes you feel good to catch something. And that's not too bad of a channel cat either. So it doesn't typically take too long for me when I hook into these fish, assuming that they're not very large fish, to get them into the kayak. You know, I'm fishing a short line. This hole here is maybe 4 or 5 feet deep, and so these fish, I mean, it doesn't take long at all to get these fish into the kayak, but they're not tuckered out at all. And these big channel cats are very aggressive, difficult to handle. If you try to land them, bring them into the kayak too early. So what I like to do typically is just give them some time here at the side of the kayak, let them wear themselves out a little bit before I bring them in. So I suppose that's what I'm going to do with this one, just like I do with all the others, and save myself just a little bit of hassle. All right. Okay, we got that one in the kayak. This one is pretty worked up this morning and did everything it could to get back at us and get us wet. Pop that hook out without catching myself if I can. Hold that thing up for a picture. Alright, there's a good look at that one there. Really not a bad channel cat. It's a nice fish. A lot of fun to catch. I really enjoy catching them on these short lines, suspending a bait right under the kayak. It's just a really up close, fun, exciting way to catch these fish. And even if you're catching fish much smaller than this one, it makes for a good time because you're fishing such a short line. Anyway, let's get this one released. I think we've got room here on the right side of the kayak to do the release. Just like that, that fish is out of here. Looks like they got water on the lens again. I can't win. But anyway, like I'd said, I just came out for a real short trip this morning to hit one of my better spots and just see what was going on before it got real hot. I'm getting ready to head out of here, go do some alfalfa work. What I may do, since I caught that fish, is if I can come back out maybe this afternoon or this evening and see if I can't just get a few more for you, put together a video and let you get a look at it. Otherwise, I don't know, you may never even see that fish. But anyway, I guess while I'm sitting here, I'll do what I normally do, which is put that bait back on the hook, and while I'm here I may as well just drop the line back and see if there happens to be another fish in the vicinity. So we'll give it a few more minutes before I get out of here and go take care of what I got to take care of. Can they hook up? Are they hooked up? Oh, they may be snagged. No. I'll bet the fish came off too. Well, folks, we got to break one off there. I guess it's as good a time as any to show you kind of what I do for my rig. So you can see I've got a pretty stout, that's an 80-pound main line. That's braided line. Got about a 3-ounce lead weight to a swivel. And then my leader is just about a foot length of 40-pound monofilament. What that does for me is, by having the monofilament as the leader, when you catch a fish, that length of line there closest to the fish's mouth is the portion of the line that's most likely to get into some of these snags and stuff and rub. And just that mono is a little bit more abrasion resistant than the braid is, and does a little bit better job of, you know, when these fish are rubbing up against stuff, of not causing issues for you and giving you a better opportunity to land that fish. In addition, I utilize a 40-pound mono leader, a little bit lighter weight than my main line, which allows me to, when I do snag, which is inevitable when you're fishing in structure like this, allows you to pop that line free there beneath your swivel, which allows you to keep your sinker in most cases. And lead is just terribly expensive, especially when you're buying these big, large lead sinkers. And so if I can avoid losing as many of them as possible, that's what I want to do. So that's the reason for, that's kind of the thought process behind the way I rig my my catfish setup. All right, guys, a little bit of bonus footage for you there. I caught that fish here on a subsequent outing with the intent of filming it as its own standalone video. However, just a short trip for me out here this morning. I've got some alfalfa work I need to go take care of, and you know, I think that may have, the standalone video deal may have been the way to go had I had more time to spend out here. Just fished 2 spots, had 2 fish hook up. Of course, had the one get in the tangle we had to break off. But anyway, you know, it took me a few trips, but I put together a video for you here finally. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate you watching.